Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand finale of Tier List Week. Maybe.
Huh?
I'm Wonderbear HD, aka Tyler. I'm joined by Crit Nick, Mr. Joe's Baseball Show, Dennis Shumar11, aka Crit Den. And today we have a spicy meatball of a tier list for you. The spiciest, most flavorful part of a game is its captain. The team's named after them. The chem is based on them. It's the best star hit you get. And today we are ranking them from juiciest to driest. Let's get right into it.
So before we go over our juiciest and driest meatballs, let me say these tiers are ordered from, we're going to start from worst to best.
Driest to wettest.
Driest to juiciest. But in the tiers, these characters are not ordered. It's just a general like pool of like, okay, these characters belong here. So we're going to go from the driest, which means the least viable.
The least viable pool.
To the
driest.
To the juiciest captain you could possibly pick.
Pick up the bit on the last episode.
Whatever. All right, so starting off in the Mario tier, the driest dog you could possibly imagine is Waluigi. This character should absolutely never be your captain. And does someone want to let the people know why? The good people.
Yeah, his star hit sucks.
It's so bad.
It doesn't get out of the infield, can't even sack fly, and it's pretty easy to catch if you know how to use your thumbs.
Yeah, you will see that most of these are based almost entirely on how good the star hit is, because
splash of the chem tree.
Yeah, because when you are a captain, your star hit only costs 1 star instead of 2 stars if they weren't your captain. So that's why we value certain captains way more than others. Just not even just like, oh, like this guy's really good, like he should be your captain. It's because of the star hits.
And when you look at Waluigi, his chem tree is not necessarily bad. It's just that he doesn't have many like good chem, like not like good characters that are chem partners, but he doesn't have a lot of them. So it just like when you're building a team, you're not going to get that many team stars with Waluigi as your captain.
Yeah. On top of the star hit just not being good, it's very double play prone because you can kind of see the eggplant change into a ball, vice versa at the very last second. And Birdo can really just gobble it up almost anytime she feels like it.
Yeah, not to mention your infield always consists of either like suck or a long dive range. So it's not even like you're going to get tripped up. Like the thing about, we'll talk about Wario's a little later, is that it's in the outfield. So you might not have someone with suck or dive or tongue. But like if you don't have that in the infield, you're just kind of not playing right.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, it's probably still going to get caught. I think the big mistake with Waluigi's is to make it on par with Wario's. They should have made it go to the infield, but they go way further apart, so you can't just stand in the middle and wait.
That would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
But
They didn't
unfortunately,
do it.
not
That's
the
why
case.
he's dry. And now we're moving in to the slightly wetter tier. You're not in a desert anymore. You've probably assembled a small slip and slide in your backyard. This is the 3 captains in the game that like their star hit does something. But you're probably not picking them for their star hit, like their chem trees do something. But
I can
again,
guarantee you're not picking these characters for their star hits.
let's throw them all up on the screen in
Wow.
this order. Peach, Luigi, Bowser. And now let's talk about them in a different order. Luigi! Take it away, Dennis.
So Luigi's star hit is a ground ball. I've seen it sometimes make the fielder start running in circles and a little too hot, but I've also seen it double play. It definitely can work. It can be viable, but a lot of it is just based off of where the fielders are positioned, because if the third baseman and first baseman are kind of like in, it's going to hit them and you will get a single. But if you hit the ball to the second baseman or shortstop, you can kind of just back away from that ball, field it cleanly, and throw the out at first. I think it will extend runners from first to second base, kind of like a sack bunt, but it is very easy to avoid getting a hit.
Yeah, I think its value almost exclusively lies in being like a glorified sack bunt. It's like this, if you use a star hit, you're almost guaranteed that sacrifice bunt. So if you need to get that run across and maybe you don't trust your bunting skills, or if you got 2 strikes or whatever, you lay this down. Even if I almost always see it go to the shortstop. I feel like that's where where it always goes.
No, second, you mean?
No, I see shortstop a lot.
Oh, I feel like I see second.
Either way, middle infielders.
Right to them.
Yeah, so it goes like right at them. So they do have to back up a bit to not get burned. So you're going to get thrown out at first most of the time. But if you have a runner on third, they're probably going to score unless you got like chem laser maybe. But that's really all I got for Luigi.
Yeah, no, he's just not worth picking at all.
His chemistry tree isn't that good either.
He gets 8 star pitches before he gets tired. So that's something.
Yeah,
True.
higher stamina, but
Not relevant.
I have
No.
actually seen Luigi's star hit work in a very small niche situation. If you hit it right to the pitcher, they don't have time to move out of the way.
Mhm.
And if you do hit the pitcher, you're guaranteed the hit because they have to do the whole animation.
True.
So,
That just takes a
Interesting.
lot of accuracy in batting, which
True.
people just are
It's
getting
tough.
there, but it's hard.
Yep.
So it, right now, you and also you just want star hits that get you more than a single,
Yep.
usually, which you'll see as we go on. But to talk about another person in this category, Peach, her star hit is just like not that good.
yeah, Tyler, got any thoughts on this?
much
feel
like
like
how
you're the guy.
Luigi's is a sack bunt, Peach's is a sack fly. The only reason I think a sack fly is better than a sack bunt because if the person in the outfield's a freaking maroon and they don't catch it, might be like a triple.
I
Way
think,
better than if you don't catch Luigi's and it's just
Yeah.
still a single.
I think
Yeah,
the biggest
exactly.
issue with Peach is that often it won't go that far. So if you have like your laser infield, you can kind of just hit the cutoff, throw home, and sometimes you won't get that sacrifice really set up properly. Where if you look at like Daisy, who we'll get to later, hers goes pretty deep. Like it can hit the wall.
Yeah,
But
I've seen it.
That and that's not to say Peaches can't go deeper. It's just I think in general Daisy's tends to go further, which gives it more value.
Yeah, I'll say this. There's been a comparison where someone has said, oh, why would I use a Peach star for 1 or 2 when I can use like a Koopa star where it's going to go to the outfield? Well, the thing I'll say is there's still something called user error. And even though it is a sacrifice fly, so to speak, it still doesn't give you all enough time to see the ball and visually track it. I've seen it go really low if you hit it on the inside part of the bat. And I have seen people miss it. Really good players, I have seen miss it, not just on their first or second attempt.
Not only really good players, people like Andrew miss it all the time.
I
I've
feel like
seen it with my eyes.
it's tough to
He misses
miss
the daisy ball
Peaches.
too.
Peaches is pretty easy because you see it so much earlier. Andrew's sitting over there right now. And now if we had Peaches star hit from sluggers, whew, she's moving way up, dude.
The
Yeah,
star
but
hits from
here,
sluggers are
yeah,
whack.
here she will remain. Her chem tree is, although extensive, she also has a lot of anti-chemistry characters.
Yes.
And it just so happens that they're some of the best characters in the game. Bowser, Petey Piranha, etc. Like
DK,
Wario.
I think even.
Dude, who's
D-
it?
no,
where,
she
where
doesn't
they
have
have
any
low
DK.
chemistry.
where did we put etc. on the tier list? That guy's
Oh, it's a
awesome.
great point, bro.
And one that is very surprising to be here because you see him as a captain in all of our games pretty much is Bowser.
That's right. He's in the
but
slip and slide tier.
As you may know if you keep up with our season and stuff, we made it a rule that if you have Bowser on your team, he has to be your captain just to try to balance Bowser out. Didn't exactly work. But anyways, you don't technically want a Bowser captain
right.
by like how the game goes because his star hit is fine. He has good chemistry tree, but like there's captains that are so much better. And also, he doesn't really need a good star because with Bowser, if you're not getting walked, you should always be swinging for the fences. He doesn't really do anything else nearly as good as that. He does that really, really good.
Yeah. It's not worth taking Bowser as your captain because even his 1-star swing, while it can be good in like a sacrifice type fashion, again, like these other characters, it's not better than just, first of all, just swing the bat because his bat's so big that you're probably going to make contact and you're not going to leave it in the infield more often than not. I mean, unless you get like a grounder, like the low line drive right at the first baseman or something, but you're going to hit it over the fence or you're going to sack fly at the least.
Right.
Bowser, if you didn't even have the option to use a Bowser star, he still is the best character in the game.
Yeah.
All these characters above him are really elevated if they were to be your captain. So I think having Bowser in this tier of a little bit wet meatball, you don't need it. So because you don't need it, these other characters do need it. They are elevated. They are made better. Bowser is where he should be right around this tier.
It's also worth arguing. And remember, this tier list is not just a tier list. It is based on them being your captain. So the argument of he's good as the captain because it means you've chosen Bowser to be on your team is invalid.
Yeah.
Does not count.
Throw it out the window. We're talking like game rules as they come.
Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of meatballs, I want to move on to like the Olive Garden meatball. Pretty middling.
This is like an above ground
Yeah.
pool at your friend's house. Like
Yeah.
it's better than nothing. You're happy your friend's got a pool, but it's still ain't in your yard.
Yeah. Now let's
And it's above ground.
and you can see these 3 characters on the screen now.
Which
Wow.
3 are they, Joey?
Wow. Well, the first one we've got Wario,
Wow.
and then you got Daisy.
Wow.
All right. Well, I was expecting you to go like hey, like more like a Daisy
Oh
noise.
no, I was just saying wow. I can see how you might think that.
And
I'll
we've
try
got
again.
Bowser Jr.
So let's talk about him in reverse order.
Okay.
Bowser Jr. is definitely the weaker link on this, in
Yeah.
my opinion. He has a line drive that's similar to Mario's, but instead of user error being possible where or just unable to catch it when the fireball like hits them,
Yeah.
it's a line drive, and if it goes right into their mouths, it's
Their
just
mouths?
caught. I mean,
Just Birdo.
yeah,
Or
pretty much.
Yoshi.
Or Magic
Um,
Hoop. That happened to me the other day.
He eats
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
The
so
bullet flies, then it just stops and goes wow, wow, wow. It's really funny looking.
That's awesome.
yeah, so Bowser Jr. he has a line drive star hit, which is you're like, oh, line drive star hit. I've seen that on like Paratroopa and Noki and stuff, but his is always the lowest trajectory possible, so it gives the middle infielders and the corner bases a lot of time to catch it.
You got to find a
Not
gap.
a lot of time, but like a lot of room. Rather,
yeah.
there's no way it's going above them.
You actually can't react to it, I've realized. It basically passes your infielders right as soon as it gives you like the fielding option. It's already like at your shortstop, basically, or your second baseman, or whatever. So you have to just like react to the quick A press. You can't really move for it. And I don't think you can even jump for it. But I don't know. I haven't had too much experience with it. But something really relevant about Bowser Jr. is chemistry is excellent. He's got chemistry he's got like strong chemistry with Bowser, Bro, and Magic Koopa,
That's a good three.
which is like, they're 3 top 10 characters, 2 in the top 5, I think. So that's just like that alone, I think, kind of is what really gave him the push to this tier.
It might be the best. It really might be the best.
I think it is the best. Yeah. Because those are characters that you're going to see every game. And you can realistically get 2 out of 3 of those on the same team.
I like with Bowser Jr. star is that if you hit the ball to right field or center field, it can push the fielder back a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can move base runners just based off of that. If it lands for a single, it's fine, but it could move runners from second to home, maybe even first to home if it's Yoshi, if you're stealing or something like that. So
Yeah, because I could like send my runners, I can hit it, send my runners back immediately, and still score from second on a reaction to like them catching it. So super good.
This is a personal take, and there's other things that will go into the other character. But I like this as far as like line drive star hits go. I like it a little more than Mario's because I personally, with Mario's you got the hot. Oh no, what am I gonna do?
The spicy meatball.
Dive into the circle, hopefully. Which gives there to be a chance that they don't catch it.
Yeah.
But I like the like assurance that no matter what happens with BJ's, it's either going through or it's pushing someone back.
Unless it's Birdo or Yoshi.
Unless it's Birdo or Yoshi.
Oh, some of the most common infielders. Yeah, that's why he is this low.
Yeah.
Just make sure you take them. That's
I
all
think
you gotta
honestly,
do.
I think the only thing that bumped him out of the lower tier is his chemistry. Because it's essentially it's the same as Bowser, but you're going to use, but his regular hit sucks compared to Bowser's, obviously.
Yeah, well, so does like everybody else's.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
go ahead.
let's get on with Daisy. Daisy's is a lot like Peach's, except the ball reveals itself a lot later.
And it goes deeper.
And it goes deeper too,
On average.
which means it's harder for your opponent to get to it.
Let's call
as
him
well
Andrew,
as-
hypothetically.
Like it's harder for Andrew to get to it, and it's harder for Andrew to line up the shot because the ball reveals itself so much later. There are tricks to catch the ball, like when your guy starts waving and stuff, which helps. But it's a better sack fly than Peach's, and it lands more often than Peach's. But with people starting to get better at the game, it doesn't land nearly as much, landing her here.
Yeah, there's not much more to say about the star hit versus Peach. I don't think we really have anything else. Notably, I think her chemistry is a little better because she has less antis, I believe.
I think so.
So I think that's basically the one thing she has over Peach, other than the star hit
So
as a captain.
So I'll finish with Daisy, and this will go into Wario. I think the good thing about Daisy's star is that it goes really far into the outfield.
Yeah.
Which you could hold your runners, and if they end up missing it on user error, maybe it goes to like a Paratroopa or a Toadsworth, someone who doesn't maybe have sliding catch. It does make it more difficult. The thing with Wario star is,
Mystery
which
guest.
no one has really ever brought up, is Wario's star hit doesn't go that far.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't.
And I feel like it goes foul so often.
And it goes foul because there is just less space for the ball to land.
Yeah.
So there'll be times where I'll play the smart move. I'll hold my runners and it'll go maybe just over the second baseman's head or just over second base. And I'll get thrown out at second or third just because there's an out and I'm trying to debate, are they going to catch? It just doesn't go far enough. I think Wario's star hit would maybe even be in the next tier above if it was going as the same distance as Daisy's, because that's really, for me, what makes Daisy's better.
And I think a big thing about Wario, his chemistry is not bad. It's pretty decent. He has Boo chemistry, which is nice. But a big thing with him and his star hit is that it's like a fake 50-50 because technically, it's you pick the garlic, you pick the real one. But say you ignore the corner case where it's like Yoshi in the outfield where you can kind of just decide after the ball is transformed back into a regular ball. It's like 50% you pick the right one, and then 50% you like second guess yourself on the garlic because you don't want to get garlicked, right? Looks like a 50-50 on paper, but it's really more like you're going to be more cautious than you would normally be if it's like I can catch this or I can not catch this.
I'm a big fan of the Wario team, and I like his chemistry partners as well. But he just doesn't bring enough to the table. The next ones we're going to talk about after this are the captains that you typically see us play with. Like you rarely see a Wario, Daisy, Bowser Jr. team in our meta, but these characters get a pretty reasonable amount of representation going forward.
The top 5.
Just before Tyler moves on, I just gotta say, it's getting wet. It's getting real wet.
Where are we?
Daddy rolled out the blueprints and is installing a beautiful in-ground pool
with a hot tub.
With a hot tub extension and a little waterfall and a diving board
and
in your backyard. No slide.
Oh.
There's not a slide yet.
I wish this was my
The
daddy.
Insurance was through the roof.
Listen, it fit in the blueprints just fine and the budget, but the fear that Daddy had of Fat Johnny coming over and fucking going up 8 steps on the slide, taking his first step on there, and then Fat Johnny's leg goes right through the slide. It was not bolted in properly. Whole thing goes over. Of course, the siding of the in-ground pool is stone. Fat Johnny hits his head. There's blood everywhere. That's on Daddy's head.
And
I feel like this happened to you.
What do you mean?
Anyways, who's at the pool party but Mario, Diddy, and Yoshi?
Fat Johnny. For
And
one.
Fat Johnny.
You get a picture of Fat Johnny.
He's in the ambulance on the way out.
And the paramedics are also there.
And Waluigi's also there.
Yeah, so let's start off with Diddy Kong here. I think he's objectively the weakest out of the 3. Now, if you look at purely, like,
but they're not in
stuff,
order.
No, not in order. But like Diddy Kong fucking sucks. Not invited to the pool party.
If one of
next
these
time.
3 guys was Fat Johnny, it's
Yeah.
Diddy Kong.
So Diddy Kong as a chemistry character, not great. You got DK, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you got Goomba.
Yo.
Wild.
But
So
we
cool.
look at his star hit, right? And Diddy's star hit really elevates him from being like a mid-tier, like a low mid-tier to being a high mid-tier, in my opinion.
Offensively.
Yeah. I mean, I just mean like as a character in general.
Okay.
I think he's like a solid like mid-tier without his star hit, but then you give him a star hit and he becomes like relatively good.
Okay.
So you look at his star, it's basically worse Donkey Kong star, but it's a lot better than that slap hit that he has. So being able to use Diddy Kong star for 1 is pretty good if they don't have Yoshi at least, and it can pretty consistently land you for at least a single, which I definitely like. And it puts some pressure on the fielders because they do have to, make the play where it is coming in at an angle. So I think it's pretty good, all things considered.
I think of any potential character that maybe is just, not the next tier above. I think Diddy is the character that is elevated the most out of any character in the game for being the captain.
Agree.
Because you can pitch with him. And I think his star hit of the characters in this tier, I think has the most upside to triple, to double, to score runs from first base. Just because if it does land and it's not Yoshi there, you have to go track and field the ball. You might have to have a laser character. His ball can score runners from first.
Yeah.
And I think of the characters in this tier, Mario, Yoshi, I think that his ball is the least double play potential.
Yeah, I mean, it goes into the
Solely by
outfield.
reaching the outfield.
Yeah.
Yes, it goes to the
Exactly.
outfield. Yeah.
I think Mario's is pretty low too, but we'll get to that.
I also don't think Yoshi's can double play. I guess it can, but
sometimes
it's hard.
Berto and sometimes it gets hit right at the shortstop.
I was like, it would literally
Or at the
like
pitcher.
right to a base.
I've seen it go at the pitcher
Right.
on a
I
fly.
guess talking about Yoshi now.
Yeah.
Why
The
not?
Yoshi egg is the darling of season 7's star hits.
Yeah.
We just found out about it. I mean, obviously we always knew about it, but we only found out it was good. We saw that it was just like a consistent, like, hey, look at me, I'm on first base. Or sometimes, if you're lucky, it's, hey, look at me, I'm on second base. But it was rarely wah, wah. So definitely worth putting in the star. On top of all that, Yoshi is a top tier character.
Yeah.
His chem is not great. It's really only Birdo, right?
Mario, I think.
Oh, and Mario. Birdo,
Baby Mario, baby
Oh, well,
Luigi.
yeah,
they
bro,
don't
come
need the
on.
babies. But yeah, so I think the reliability that the egg brings to the table, the almost, I think like a 75% chance you're getting on first with it. That's awesome. That's such a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
It's a pretty safe bet. So.
Yeah. And Tyler said, this is like the season 7, we saw the rise in the Yoshi egg. And I think you see that a lot is because a lot of players are good. A lot of people are really good and close in skill level. And there's times where it doesn't really, you're not really trying to get a double or triple. It's a 2-2 game. You just want to get on base. You want to make sure you have 5 stars, that star is landing, you're moving runners, you're getting guys on for your heavies, and Yoshi does a really good job with that. And because we've seen the fielder swap with Yoshi, having him not just as your captain, but also on your team with a safe star hit, he's neutralizing hits, he's getting hits, he's extending to your heavies, and he sometimes is getting doubles, and he can steal. So I think Yoshi is a really good, safe, reliable, creme de la creme star hitter.
I think the only thing holding back Yoshi really from being like even better is, first of all, the cap on how good it can be. It's more likely not going to be a single. So while it's consistent, it's like you're not going to explode with the Yoshi star hit, right? And also, I think another big thing is that Yoshi is definitely good enough on his own, and you're probably going to have a different captain that is one of the two that we'll talk about in the last tier that is just better as a captain.
Especially because the 2 captains that we still have to move on to after this tier are notorious for being like having like a combo of Yoshi on first, the 1 star hit to drive them in.
Yeah. So let's finish up this tier.
For
Mario, his star hit is really his main attraction as far as captainage goes, because his chemistry is fine. It's not great. He's got, like Yoshi, Luigi,
Peach.
It's not great. It's not great. So, but when you look at his star hit, it has pretty good potential as far as RBIs go, because if you hit it into the outfield, you're probably going to get a base hit. And you can kind of tell that you can send your runners once it passes the infield. And the off chance where they do catch it in the outfield, you usually have enough time to react to that to send them back. So the double play potential, in my opinion, is slim to none. Because even when it does hit your infielder, you're probably going to get out. It's probably going to go to the pitcher or something. But you can send your runners back in response because they do the spicy meatball, hot, hot, hot.
Mm-hmm. Just came out of the oven, don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I've seen things to counter it. So let's say first and second is an out, gets hit at DK, the ball pops up, you send your runners back. I can let that ball drop and then throw it to third, throw it to second.
Yeah.
So you might not catch it, but there is definitely, I think of these star hitters, I'd say it does have the highest double play potential, but I do think though that if it gets to the outfield, you can just kind of send the runners and see from there.
I don't think that's the highest.
3 characters, I think it has the highest.
Of Diddy and Yoshi. Of Diddy Yoshi.
Yeah, that's fair.
Diddy Yoshi.
I was going to say they're definitely higher double play potential stars.
We're actually about to talk about one of the top tier.
Yeah. Got anything for Mario? I think.
No,
we pretty much summed it up.
He's good.
Time to move on to the wettest place on earth.
Baby.
The ocean, mama.
Oh, no!
we talked
about it. Not here for the discussion.
Dude, I pissed for 30 seconds.
I'm glad
max.
that you're on my side.
I can't believe you right now. The ocean is not the wettest place on earth because when you are in the ocean, there is nothing dry around you to inform you of how wet you are. Whereas when you are at a Wet and Wild splish splash style water park, you could be standing on dry land and go, it'd be totally wet if I went in that fucking big ass, perfectly insured slide and had the time of my life. And that's exactly what you're getting with DK and Berto.
I for the record, also said the ocean originally. So,
and you're both probably embarrassed.
I just want to go where Fat Johnny is.
So Berto has been the premier captain since we started this club, started playing this game. Berto captain was seen pretty much every game, and she still sees just about every game. She has the most, I want to say polarizing. Is polarizing a good word for it?
Volatile, I would say.
The most volatile, sure. Most volatile star hit out of everybody with the highest, floor and ceiling possible. The floor is, okay, you got double played because you hit it right to the second baseman and your runner couldn't go back in time. The ceiling is inside the park home run, which I wouldn't bring up if I only saw it once. I've seen it multiple times.
I think we saw it at least twice on camera last season.
Yeah.
Which is,
that doesn't mean, that happens twice. The double play happens a lot.
Triples, though?
But the doubles and triples, the single is okay, fine, sure. The doubles are like, that was pretty good.
And
That was pretty good. And the triples are just like, wow, this character is busted.
Yeah, you know, it's like when you look at Yoshi, it's like his norm is a single, but he can kind of get the double if he's lucky. Birdo's norm is like a double or a triple even, and you can kind of get the single if you're unlucky.
Yeah. You're more likely to get double played than get a single, I think, with Birdo.
I think so as well. Yeah, so I just think when you look at Birdo, chemistry, don't even worry about it. Who cares? Her star hit is just the value that you can get from it for 1 star is so huge.
She's got Chem with Petey. That's a pretty good character.
And Yoshi.
And those are 2 great characters.
That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Yeah, her
But
chem's
like,
really good.
even if she had the worst chem in the game, she's probably still here.
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, Birdo's only problem is, you could have saved your entire star gauge to use it on her, and then she just double plays with runners on base and your innings are over.
Yep.
Other than that, her star hit's pretty easy to land because all you got to do is just swing kind of decent.
Make
I've
contact.
seen players get jammed and it's like, oh, that's going to be an out, and it just squeaks its way through the infield and it bounces towards like over the fence in left field for like a freaking double.
Yeah, you see ground rule doubles a lot.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of making contact with the ball, and I think that's why a lot of people like her, even on top of the double play potential. But someone who doesn't double play, someone whose star hit is kind of difficult to land, who's up in this tier is DK. Probably the most skill-based star of any character not named Diddy or DK. DK star is my favorite in the game.
Well, he is named DK.
Yeah, he's named DK. DK star for me is my favorite. I think if there's not a Yoshi in the outfield, there's really nothing to fear because then it's just like just hit it somewhere that's not anywhere at the fielder and it's going to land for a double.
Yeah.
It can score runners from second. It can score runners from first. Nick proclaimed the Yoshi DK star to hit. It works every single time. I think it's a great Yoshi leadoff to a DK star. It works every time.
Dude, you know what the most glorious thing in the world is? You go like Toadette 9, Yoshi 1, DK 2. Runners on first and second, they're both scoring on that.
Oh, sorry. Actually, 1 out, runner on first. Score Yoshi.
Yeah, that's probably what's more likely to happen.
Not what this is about. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. Anyways, anything else you guys want to say about these are just also really good characters.
Yeah,
DK and
yeah.
Birdo. Like Birdo is your premier second baseman. DK is
Your premier
premier
shortstop.
second
pretty much a
baseman, yeah.
premier shortstop. Like with laser plus his big dive range plus just how tall he is with his jump especially.
Good
He-
star hits plus good chem trees plus a good place to put them in the field that isn't solely I'm taking you to be my captain.
Yeah,
That's what makes Splish Splash a magical place.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Makes it the wettest place on earth.
The wettest
perhaps.
place on earth.
Yeah, and lastly, what I think makes DK really good is the fact that you don't have to have him as your captain for him to still be a top 4 character. You could maybe up value in Diddy, up value in Yoshi, up value in Mario by making maybe one of them the captain, and you can have a better chemistry around. With Birdo, it's like she is like a top 4 or 5 character as a captain, and I think when she's not the captain, maybe she even squeaks out of that top 10. So you're almost always wanting to captain Birdo because she doesn't have the home run potential such as DK. So. But both are great. Both
But,
stars are
as a
awesome.
captain, DK.
Yeah.
Probably the best in the game. We'll see.
Best 2, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
For sure.
Inarguable.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us with your Splish Splash season passes on the captain tier list that became all about water on a gag at the start. Sorry. Anyways,
It was about meatballs for a second.
it was.
Water with a splash, pun intended, of meatball.
Yeah.
So everybody, thanks so much for coming. We appreciate you all so much. If you like this video, be sure to like it, comment your opinions about what we've talked about today. We'd love to hear back from you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps. Ring that motherfucking bell. Oh,
Ooh.
and we got patrons. We'll put them up on the screen right now. They support us in everything we do. They make all this possible. You saw us play some baseball against them last week, actually,
Whoa.
on the meetup week. A lot of those people who we played against were patrons. Whoa! So anyways,
Whoa.
thanks so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you tomorrow for a very special tier list. Dinger City out.
Dinger City out.